Hello everyone. In the last lecture video in the DC generator, we have studied what is a working principle of DC generator, construction of DC generator. So working principle already it is studied in the single phase AC generator. Similar type it will be there in the DC generator except the commutator part. You can see here this is a construction of the DC generator because of the commutator part which converts the alternating voltage into direct voltage. So construction, it is a cross sectional view of the DC generator, and you can see in this diagram the outermost part is yoke which provides the mechanical strength to the DC generator. The after that inner part is the poles and pole shoes. So poles which provides the magnets, magnetic flux. So the poles also consist of some set of winding. That winding is called it as a field winding. So poles along with the pole core, pole shoes which supports the pole that generates the magnetic flux lines. Then inner layer is armature cylinder, armature structure. It has many slots. Within the slots armature windings are placed. Then inside the armature there is the circular ring you can see, that is a commutator part. That is the part which converts the alternating voltage into direct voltage. And the innermost part in the DC generator is shaft. So what is DC generator? Or generator which converts the mechanical energy into electrical energy. So mechanical rotation supplied to the shaft, because of the shaft rotates, along with the shaft commutator and armature part conductors are rotating. So when the conductors are rotating in the stationary magnetic field lines which cut the magnetic flux lines, cut by magnetic flux lines, and according to Faraday's law, electromagnetic induction, EMF generated in the conductor. So magnetic flux lines generated by the magnets and armature conductors are rotating in the stationary magnetic field lines, so that which generates the EMF. That is the concept working principle of the DC generator. And these are the different parts in the DC generator. What are the different parts? Shaft, armature, commutator, then pole coil, pole core, pole shoe. Pole coil also call it as a field coils. Then yoke supports the mechanical strength, and remaining terminal box used to collect the EMF or current generated in the conductor towards the outer loading part, and lifting eye and base plate gives the to hold and to lift the whole DC generator. These are the different parts in the DC generator. Even in this diagram you can see clearly what are the different parts in the DC generator. Terminal box used to connect all the coils required for the armature structure as well as fields or magnets, and pole which is nothing but the magnets, and field winding. Why field windings are required? So to send the current, required current through the field coil, that will make the magnet to a electromagnet. So electromagnet generates the desired magnetic field lines required for the generation of the EMF. When the armature coil is rotating in this stationary magnetic field lines, there is a changes in the magnetic flux takes place. So whenever the flux linking with the conductor changes, EMF generated in the conductor, that will be collected from the terminal box to the external loop. So commutator, which because of that structure, internal alternating voltage generated in the DC generator will be converted into unidirectional current because of the commutator structure in the DC generator. Brushes used to connect to the external circuit. These are the different parts in the DC generator. Already we have discussed in the previous class. What are the different parts? Armature, commutator, brush. Brush just it will pushes on the, or just it will be holding on the commutator part. Then different parts in the DC generator. So today we will discuss what are the types of armature winding. So armature winding is a rotating part, but the conductors are placed in the yoke part, slots on the armature structure. So there are two types of windings are there in the armature. One is lap winding, another one is wave winding. So armature winding, which is connected in the lap winding, in such lap winding, the winding, when the winding progresses, it appears as one coil is lapping over the other coil. We can see like lapping over another, so that is a lap winding. But wave winding, here when the winding progresses, it progresses like a wave. So you can see in the diagram, first one, lap winding, all windings are placed, one overlapping with one another. But wave winding, which are like it is separately, when it progresses, it looks like a winding. And other differences, the number of parallel paths in the lap winding is equal to number of poles in the whole generator part. So number of parallel paths means number of conductors are placed in the parallel structure, parallel path. So you can see in the fifth point, the number of parallel paths is equal to number of magnetic poles present in the generator in the lap winding. But in the case of wave winding, number of parallel paths always equal to 2. Only there are 2 parallel paths. So A, number of parallel path A always equal to 2 in wave winding. But in the lap winding, those number of parallel paths is equal to number of poles. And second point, number of brush sets required is equal to number of poles in the lap winding. But in the case of wave winding, it is always equal to 2. And preferable for lap winding is preferable for high current, low voltage capacity generator. But in the wave winding, it is preferable for high voltage, low current capacity generator. And in the lap winding, normally it is used for generators of capacity more than 500 ampere. Wave winding, this capacity less than 500 ampere. And the Z is the total number of conductors. So you can see each parallel path contains how many number of conductors? Z by P conduct, because there are P number of parallel paths in the lap winding. So each parallel path contains Z by P conductors. And in the wave winding, only there are 2 parallel paths. Each parallel path contains Z by 2 conductors in series. These are the difference between the 2 windings. So armature, in the armature structures, armature windings are placed either in the terms of lap winding or in the structure of wave winding. So in the wave winding, always the number of parallel paths A, capital A, always equal to 2. But in the lap winding, number of parallel paths capital A is equal to P. And all it is used for high current, low voltage capacity generator. Wave winding used for high voltage, low current capacity generators. So let us see what is the EMF equation of the DC generator. How to derive the equation? This is very important derivation. You need to write it in your notes. How to derive the equation. So let us start with the different terminology or different terms used in the EMF equation. First one, Z, capital Z. Z is the total number of armature conductors in the complete armature structure. And phi is the useful flux per pole in Webers. N is the speed of the armature in revolution per minute, RPM. P, number of poles, magnets, how many number of magnets or north and south poles are placed in the generator, that is represented as capital P, and capital A is the number of parallel paths. Already we have discussed, in the lap winding always A is equal to P, in wave winding A is equal to 2. So the flux cut by a conductor in one revolution is equal to phi into P, because phi is the flux per pole and P is the total number of poles. So phi into P is the flux cut by the conductor in one revolution, one 360-degree rotation. The flux cut by the conductor is phi into P, that is equal to d phi. Let us consider d phi flux cut by a conductor in one revolution. D phi is equal to phi into p. Time taken by the conductor to make one revolution is 60 by n second. N is the speed of the armature in revolution per minute. So in second, it's 60 divided by n is the time taken by the conductor to make one revolution. That is equal to dt. So EMF induced in one conductor. Only one conductor we are considering now. So it is according to Faraday's law, E is equal to d phi by dt. Rate of change of flux is directly proportional to EMF induced in the conductor. That is the Faraday's law. So d phi by dt is equal to flux cut by a single conductor is phi p, and time taken for the conductor to cut in one revolution is 60 by n second. So phi p n by 60 volts is the EMF induced in one single conductor, in one conductor. So EMF induced per parallel path is equal to EMF induced per conductor into number of conductors per parallel path. So if you write the EMF induced per parallel path, then you need to multiply EMF induced in a single conductor into number of conductors per parallel path. So phi p n by 60 into number of conductor per parallel path is Z. Z is the total number of conductor divided by number of conductors per parallel path. That is A. If it is a lap winding, A is equal to P. Wave winding, A is equal to 2. So number of conductor per parallel path Z by A. So EMF induced per parallel path is equal to phi p n z divided by 60 into A volts. That is the EMF induced to per parallel path. If equation 3.2 is the EMF equation of a DC generator for a per parallel path. For lap winding, A is equal to P. Then you can substitute there phi z n p by 60 into P. Then you will be getting phi z n by 60. For wave winding, in the place of A, you need to replace 2. Then it is phi z n p by 120 volts. So general equation for a DC generator is phi z n p divided by 60 into A volts is the EMF equation of a DC generator. So this is very important. We have started the EMF equation for a single conductor. We have to write it in terms of Faraday's law. EMF E is equal to d phi by dt. So d phi flux cut by a conductor for one revolution phi p. Time taken for one revolution is 60 by n. So we have substituted. Then for a parallel path, if we write EMF equation, then that EMF per conductor into number of conductors per parallel path. Then you will be getting phi z n p divided by 60 into A volts. So what are the types of DC generator? Next topic. So we will be dividing the DC generator based on how field coils are excited. So field coils means the set of conductors or coils placed on the magnet. It is not placed on the armature structure. So field coils are placed on the magnets. That part, magnet along with the field coils, not rotating part, those are stationary part. But field coils or pole coils are placed over the magnets to make the magnet to a electromagnet. So that electromagnet generates the required magnetic flux lines so that it generates the required EMF in the DC generator. So based on the how field coils are placed, the DC generators are classified into two types: separately excited DC generator and self-excited DC generator. These are the different parts in the DC generator. Already we have discussed in the previous class. What are the different parts? Armature, commutator, brush, brush, just it will pushes on the, or just it will be holding on the commutator part. Then different parts in the DC generator. Can see the DC generator has a field magnet winding which is excited using a separate voltage source like battery, then which is called it as a separately excited DC generator. The output voltage depends on the speed of the rotation of the armature and field current. The higher the speed of the rotation and current, the higher the output EMF. DC generator. So self-excited DC generator is the generator in which field winding is excited by the output of the generator itself. So the self-excited DC generator is further classified as DC shunt generator, DC series generator and DC compound generator. Okay, there are two types. First one, separately excited DC generator where field windings are excited by the external DC supply, but self-excited DC generator, the field winding is excited by the output of the generator itself. So there are three types: shunt generator, series generator and compound generator. So what is DC shunt generator? DC shunt generator, here the field winding is connected in parallel to the armature conductors. So shunt field winding are connected in shunt or parallel with the armature conductors, then such type of DC generator is called as shunt generator. So in the DC generator, shunt generator, you can see shunt field windings connected in parallel to the armature conductor. That's why that field winding is called it as a shunt field, or RSH, resistance of the shunt field coil. Then armature, it consists of Ra, resistance of the armature conductor, Ia, is the current flowing through the armature conductor, and load is the load side where voltage V is the terminal voltage available across the load. So in this diagram, current flowing through the armature part is IA, current flows through the shunt field coil is ISH, and current flows through the load is IL. So here the field winding is wired parallel to the armature winding so that voltage across the both are same. The field winding has high resistance and more number of turns so that only part of armature current passes through field coil and the rest passes through the load. So the equation shunt field current is given by ISH is equal to V by SH. So shunt field current is given as ISH is equal to V by RSH, where RSH is the shunt field winding resistance. So ISH is the voltage, ISH is the current flowing through the shunt field coil. The resistance of the shunt field coil is RSH. Voltage available across the shunt field coil is V, that is the terminal voltage. Both are same. So V by RSH is the shunt field current. The current field ISH is practically constant at all loads. Therefore, the DC shunt machine is considered to be a constant flux machine. So, DC flux machine, shunt machine is considered to be a constant flux machine. So, armature current is given as IA is equal to IL plus ISH. The terminal voltage is given by the equation is V is equal to EG minus IARA. If the brush contact drop is included, the equation of the terminal voltage becomes EG minus IARA minus 2 into VP. So what is a DC series generator? Here the field coil is connected in series with the armature conductor. So IA and ISE both are same. Whatever the current through the armature conductor is same current flowing through the series field winding. Okay, and even that is same, the IL same equal to the IL. IL is the current flowing through the load part. So V is the voltage available across the load. Now the equation ISC is equal to IL is equal to IA. RSC is known as a series field winding. Terminal voltage V is equal to EG minus IARA minus ISC RSC. IA and ISC both are same. So EG minus IA into RSC plus RA. If the brush contact drop is scheduled included, the terminal voltage equation become EG minus IA, EG minus IARA plus IARSC minus 2 VP. So what is a DC compound generator? DC compound generator, it has two field windings on each pole. One of them is connected in series having few turns of thick wire, other is connected in parallel having many turns of fine wire with armature winding. So this is, name it as it is a mix of series and parallel winding. So it is called it as a shunt winding and series winding, RSH and RSC. So compound generator is of two types, short shunt and long shunt. So short shunt V plus here equal to V plus V plus ILRSC divided by RSH. So that is equal to Eg minus IARA divided by RSH. IA is equal to IL plus ISH. So terminal voltage Eg minus IARA minus ILRSC. If it is a brush contact also included, then minus 2 will be for the same equation. Now the equation So equation ISH is equal to V by RSH. Series feed current ISC is equal to IA is equal to IL plus ISH. Terminal voltage EG minus IARA minus ISC RSC. So EG minus IA into RA plus RSC. So if we include brush contact gap, then it is minus 2 V